Brings it up. Gets a screen from Whiteside. Goes left. Crossover. 3 for the tie. Got it! A new career high with 11 threes made by Damian Lillard. He's got 57. We are tied at 121.
That was what it sounded like on Rip City Radio 620. Somebody say Dame time? I don't know, maybe? Dame. I get it. Damian Lillard went off franchise record, 61 points and 11 three-pointers as the Trailblazers beat the Warriors in a rematch of the Western Conference Finals last year, where now both teams are washed. They win 129-124. Dame just becomes the 6th player in NBA history with multiple 60-point games. And if that wasn't enough, strap in for this. He became the first player in NBA history to drop 60 points and 10 threes in a game. His 61 of the most points scored against the Warriors since Wilt Chamberlain at 62 in 1966. Staying in the NBA, the Celtics beat the Lakers 139-107. It was the largest margin of victory over the Lakers in the regular season since 1963. Kemba Walker only dropped 20 last night, but the biggest story was he finally got his first career head-to-head win over LeBron James. He was 0 for 28 entering last night's game. LeBron and AD combined for just 24 points. LA going to be back in action Wednesday against the Knicks. And more basketball. James Harden's struggles continued last night against the Thunder as the Rockets lost 112-107. He finished with 29 but missed 16 three-pointers in that process. Here's some perspective on that performance. His 16 missed threes are tied for the most missed threes in a game in NBA history. There have been 7 instances of a player missing 16 threes in a game. James Harden has 6 of them.
Pete, por favor, say that again.
Shooter's going to shoot.
Shoot. Literally.
Sports Center brought to you by Nature Valley. If you love Nature Valley sweet and salty bars, you'll love the new sweet and salty minis. It's all the indulgent, savory goodness you know. Now in a smaller size. And at 100 calories, snacking has never been so sweet.
All I ask is you're making statements, you better come correct. Because if you don't come correct, I am here to correct you.
It's Golic and Wingo.
The flamethrower is coming out, gang!
Yeah, I think you do. The corrector.
All right. By the way, I'm having a real problem adding a printer to my computer.
Oh, my God.
That's the worst thing here. It is by far the worst thing here.
God, we're...
No. Cliff, quick, add a printer to your computer right now.
We know.
Put a timer on it.
I can do it right now. It literally takes 2 minutes.
No, you know what? It does, but from what Devin told me, but now it gets me right where I need to be, except the printer I want to put on there isn't on the list. So now what the hell do I do?
This is...
Trey, I'm sorry I took your time.
It's okay. Every day of my life
Can I tell you, I am normally on the side of Cliff and Junior when it comes to you and technology.
It's horrific.
But this is the worst thing we do at ESPN, trying to find the printer
horrible.
And add it.
Horrible.
It is absolutely horrible.
I got to be honest, this is probably the most relatable this show has been in a while.
Right?
This is relatable.
I mean, tell me this isn't everybody's frustration in the workworkplace. How do I add the bleeping printer?
They have made it easier, except it would be nice if the printer was listed.
Yes.
All right, I'm done.
All right, there we go.
Time for you to yell.
A lot of people getting their frustrations out right now. This is good. It's therapeutic for you guys.
Listen, sometimes you need to air it out. You just get it out. You'll feel better. So I need to air this out
Go ahead.
I will feel better. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, Golic and Wingo. We are phone guests. Join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And look, I get it. We all understand what this week is, right? It's the first time since after Labor Day where the Pro Bowl is this weekend. I understand.
Yeah, right.
But that's more of a celebration of guys that have played great. And we're going to have some fun stuff, play tug of war and dodgeball and all that kind of. And there'll be a game at the end of the week.
Right.
So we're all just waiting around for Super Bowl 54 to start in Miami. We're all going to be there next week. So sometimes we need to just talk about stuff to fill the void to get us to Super Bowl Sunday. And sometimes when we do that, we find ourselves veering down a very dark path that perhaps we shouldn't be going down.
Okay.
So we're all trying to discuss what it meant and what this is and what that is. And I've been hearing a lot of these takes about certain quarterbacks in the NFL, and I feel like it only happens this week. For example, it was on First Take, right? This was on First Take, as it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Stephen A. Smith and company were having the discussion about, and we do this, like how much of the success is on this person's shoulders? How much blame does this person get for the loss?
We do it with Brady and Belichick like every year.
Oh, we do it all the time.
All the time.
So I guess at some point they were having the discussion about the Chiefs. How much of the success is on Patrick Mahomes? How much is on Andy Reid? How much is on the surrounding and supporting cast? And then this happened.
I'm looking at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, and I'm saying, excuse me, I'm not denying the fact that you are great. The flip side to it is that as great as you look, it has also helped because unlike basketball, you can't just put the ball in the hole. You Patrick Mahomes, you need those brothers to get open. You need them to run the right route. You need them to be as effective as they've been. And I'm telling you these brothers are elite. They're special, and that helps along the way. Now, do I think that Alex Smith, for example, could have done what Patrick Mahomes has done in terms of numbers? Not necessarily so. But do I think that Alex Smith could have gone to the Super Bowl this year with that crew? Yes, I do.
No, I don't.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Stephen A.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
They were down 24 to nothing.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear sweet Lord, mother of...
Just for everybody to know, when Trey came in this morning, pre-show, he came in and the flamethrower was already going on this. So we were just waiting to get to this. We all completely disagree with it. Trey vehemently.
Do you remember when Kenny Mayne had a webisode series and there was one point he was trying to close the overnight sports center with Scott Van Pelt and he kept messing it up and Scott was getting very angry. It was all in jest, but he was getting very angry. At one point he said, Kenny, I love you. You're my friend. I love you, but you need to stop and we need to get this done. Stephen A., I love you. You are my friend. I respect you. But no, I do not believe you actually believe this. And I also think there is zero chance that Alex Smith would have done the things that Patrick Mahomes has done and led this team to the Super Bowl. Because if I'm hearing it correctly, I want to make sure, we all heard that he said if Alex Smith had these weapons, they would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Well, when do we tell him that Alex Smith had these weapons?
Yeah, go back to 2017. Alex Smith did have an excellent year. That preceded my rant of, wow, can they change quarterbacks now?
Yes.
He had a heck of a year, and he had some really good weapons that year.
I would like to read for you, Stephen A., my friend, the person that I respect, the weapons that Alex Smith had around him in 2017 when the Chiefs lost a home divisional game to the Marcus Mariota-led Tennessee Titans. When Mariota threw a touchdown pass to himself. Your starting tight end was Travis Kelce.
He led that team in receptions that year.
One of your starting wide receivers was Tyreek Hill.
He was second.
Yeah. The other starting wide receiver included Demarcus Robinson, who is also still on the team. Your running back that year was Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt was the third leading receiver on that team and rushed for over 1,300 yards.
So, in other words, way better running back.
Yeah.
Now, Damian Williams has done a fine job, and Shady in certain spots this year has been great. But you had a much better running game that year and a more consistent threat with Kareem Hunt than you have for any running back this year. That's it. The only difference, you can substitute a Byron Pringle for a Chris Conley if you want to from the 2019 Chiefs to the 2017 Chiefs, but Demarcus Robinson was there. He's also on the same team. So basically what you're saying, if you believe that this cast is completely different, it comes down to one player, Mecole Hardman. And Mecole Hardman is a fine player. He's a Pro Bowl returner. Right? But if that's the point you're making, you're basically saying the reason this Chiefs team is better is because of Mecole Hardman. And that is patently ridiculous.
Yeah, listen, like I said, we all disagree. Well, I haven't heard you yet, Mike. I completely disagree with what Stephen A. said as well. Alex Smith, as we said, had a career year that year.
And we like Alex Smith.
And the one thing Stephen A. said, and he was correct on, he said he's not saying that Alex Smith can do the things Patrick Mahomes can do because we know he can't. But I would agree with you. I just don't see, especially if you get in a game where you're down 24 to nothing. That wasn't Alex Smith's bailiwick.
Yeah, that is not his genre, his milieu.
It's not. So they had a heck of a year that
bailiwick,
year.
By the way, good pull.
Thank you very much. Losing in that wild card game to Tennessee, but yeah, I can't go down that road. Pat Mahomes makes such a difference.
You know what the amazing thing in this is, though, and I completely agree with you guys. Obviously, I worship at the altar of Patrick Mahomes. Like, we're all on this show looking and understanding that we're seeing one of the most special things that we have ever seen. And that the weapons certainly, I think, make this offense something a lot more interesting. Like having Tyreek Hill as the piece in this offense with Patrick Mahomes' skill set might be the best blend of two people working together that the NFL has, bar none.
Totally
Like,
agree.
remember for years, it was Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger. That connection they had when the play broke down, it seemed like those guys were operating on the same brain.
What you just said is the difference why none of this would work the other way around. Because anybody can X and O it with those weapons around them. But what makes Mahomes a difference maker, and what makes him different and special and unique is, as Tim Hasselbeck always likes to say, he goes beyond the X's and O's. For example, the touchdown run at the end of the half that gave the Chiefs the lead over Tennessee, 21-17. Alex Smith ain't making that play.
Now, Alex Smith could run.
He could run.
Let's also say Alex Smith could run.
He ain't making
gained
that
yards
play.
running. I agree with that. But Alex Smith could run, no doubt. We don't want to turn this into Alex Smith isn't a good quarterback, because
that's not
Alex
what we're
Smith went
saying.
through that his entire career being number one and not instead of Aaron Rodgers and being a managing quarterback. He's a really good quarterback who unfortunately had a horrific ending, what may be the ending to his career with that leg. But this is just in comparison to Pat Mahomes, and there just isn't.
Listen, the way let's take out the run, because you're right, Alex Smith could run. What was the knock against the Alex Smith-led offense when he was in Kansas City? They could dink and dunk down the field, but
they take the big shots.
They couldn't take the big shots, and they couldn't score in a hurry.
Right.
They got the ball with 1:51 left at the end of the half with 2 timeouts against the Tennessee Titans defense that had not given up a single touchdown in the final 2 minutes of the first half all year long. And they went down and scored with 20 seconds to spare and didn't even need the 2 timeouts. That's the Patrick Mahomes difference right there. That's the thing that you weren't getting under that other offense. So, Stephen A., you are right. There is a plethora of weapons around Patrick Mahomes. But really, Alex Smith had almost the identical weapons, and he ain't doing the things Mahomes is doing with that offense. And that's just a truth. That's a certainty. That's a non-negotiable item.
So you want the fun part of this, though?
Yes.
All right, so now I will begrudge you that this year Patrick Mahomes started 14 games, I believe.
Right, correct.
Alex Smith's last year in Kansas City, he started 15 games, so he had one more start. But this is kind of fun. The stat lines?
Yeah.
Alex Smith his last year, 67.5% completion percentage, 4,042 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, averaged 8.8 yards per attempt. Offense averaged 269.5 yards a game, 8.6 air yards per attempt. So they're pushing it downfield a fair amount. Patrick Mahomes, one fewer game this year, 65.9% completion percentage, 4,031 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 8.3 yards per attempt, 8.9 air yards per attempt. He was 0.3 above him in air yards per attempt and yards per attempt, and identical in everything else.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
That really is.
Identical. And again, one fewer game, which Patrick Mahomes can throw 5 touchdowns in a game. So he would have had better stats, but
Alex Smith had a year. That was his career year.
You were 100% right. No one is denigrating Alex Smith.
I didn't expect them to be
that
identical.
Yes.
Like, 20s, both 26 and 5.
But that sums up, like, then what would be the difference? It's the plays that Mahomes makes outside of the realm of the offense. That's what it is. For example, on the first touchdown drive that got the Chiefs back in the game when they were down 10-0, he threw a ball on 3rd and 10, rolling out to his right, that he just flicked about 20 yards down the field, and Tyreek Hill came back and made the catch. And Mina Kimes sent me a text when he made that throw. She said, "I'm just giggling," because he's the only quarterback that can make that throw. He's the only guy that could bring you back from 24 points down. They were down twice by 10 points to Tennessee in the second quarter, and they still had the lead at the half. That ain't happening with Alex Smith, man. And it's not a knock on him. It's just you're not understanding the things that he brings,
it's more
which
about
are
the
different.
greatness of Mahomes than the deficiencies. If you want to, again, of Alex Smith, he was always called a management type of a quarterback. But I'm glad you did that, though, with those stats. and that are about the same, but Mahomes just is able to do it differently and put you in a position where you're never worried about having to come back because you know you can with his ability.
I will always go back to this, and we did this. So this was on December 22nd. I forget exactly what week this was after with Patrick Mahomes, but go back till that time period, and these stats are true up until then. Patrick Mahomes had completed a 3rd and 18 with a 19-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. 3rd down and distance has not bothered Patrick Mahomes all season. This is courtesy of Stats and Info. Mahomes passing on 3rd and 4th down and 18-plus during the 2019 season. He was 9 of 10 for 220 yards, 5 first downs, and 3 touchdowns. No other quarterback had converted more than 2 first downs on 3rd or 4th and 18-plus during the season.
There it is.
Like, when you get to the points that are supposed to be impossible, like, we always said, like, you train all offseason for not the easy parts, not where, like, you're in 2nd and 4 and manageable. You train for 3rd and obvious, I always called it,
Correct.
which is either 3rd and short and everybody knows you're probably running at 4th and short, or 3rd and 8+ in all this one. Patrick Mahomes is your get-out-of-jail-free card. You can work a little less hard in the offseason on 3rd and 8+ because you know the howitzer attached to his arm is probably going to be the thing you just call on.
Can I tell you something? That 3rd and 18 game was the game against the Bears, if I'm not mistaken, on the week 16, I think, of the regular season, because I was out in California watching the game with my dad, who had not seen a lot of Patrick Mahomes. And so I said, Dad, you got to watch this guy play. So we got to the point, it's 3rd and 18, and he said, well, he's done now. And I said, yeah, I don't think so. And he converted, and he goes, my God, this guy is incredible.
Something.
So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
You feel a little better? You got that?
Yeah, but there's something else I need to get out there.
Okay.
Something else I need to get out there.
All right.
On fine staple of our company, pardon the interruption.
Oh.
Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon, great.
Kill it.
Awesome, fantastic. They were having a debate.
Wow, I sense a butt coming.
Yeah,
there's a big. With me, there's always a big butt,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. So they were having a debate about what to do in Tennessee because both Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry are free agents. And they were having a discussion, well, with Derrick Henry, you can kind of put anybody in there, right? And this was the back and forth between Tony and Michael.
I don't think you have to double down. You want to keep Derrick Henry, all right, who's 26 years old. Tannehill, you brought him in as a maybe measure this year. You can always find one of those guys, but you better find the right guy next time.
I disagree. The identity of the Titans for 3 or 4 years was Marcus Mariota. Mike Vrabel comes in and he says,
there?
you know what? I understand. Mike Vrabel wants Tannehill. Tannehill goes 9-4, right? 9-4 as a starter.
Season.
Do you know who they beat this year?
Yeah.
They beat New England.
Yeah.
They beat Baltimore. The regular season, they beat
You're going to
Kansas
guarantee
City.
me they can win those games next year?
Derrick Henry led the whole world in scoring.
Yes.
Did he not? I say you do. I say you have to keep.
If you're going to throw it as few times as Tannehill did, why don't you just put Mariota back under center? You already have him, and you risk losing him because people are going to take a look.
They're done with him. They're done with him.
I don't think they're done with him. I mean, I think he winds up somewhere else. Don't make me
Well,
tell
that's
you
what
where.
I'm saying.
Oh, boy. Got to do this again.
Okay.
Got to do it again. Michael, you're a friend of mine.
Oh, boy.
I respect your career.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're terrific. And I don't think you have a thought in the world about what you said about they could do this with Marcus Mariota. I want to read for you now the splits on the Tennessee Titans season when Marcus Mariota was the quarterback for the Titans and when Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback for the Titans. First 6 weeks, Titans were 2-4. They averaged 16 points a game and had 21 offensive touchdowns. When Ryan Tannehill took over the starting lineup, they went 6-1 for a while. And then they averaged 31.4 points per game. And by the way, they became the most efficient red zone team in the NFL. For those that don't understand what that means, that is when you get into the red zone, you have a highest percentage of converting that into a touchdown. Not just scores, into a touchdown. So you cannot just say, put Mariota in there and it'll be the same. Because you know what? It wasn't.
Well, I was going to say, he was in there.
And they switched for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't working.
The one thing to Michael's point is, because Tony did bring up they won in New England, they won in Baltimore, and in both those games, Tannehill barely threw the ball.
Yes.
So they weren't quarterback reliant really in those games. But
that's not the same thing.
All you can do is judge a man on what he does when he gets the opportunity. And when Ryan Tannehill was in there, it certainly helps to have a good running game. But it's not like they run the ball all the time and then play action. They'll play action early on as well. He was the highest rated play action quarterback in the league this year. So, yeah, that's another one I would disagree with. There's a reason Tannehill went in, and there's a reason they did what they did.
This was Wilbon's mistake in all this. You got to wait until Tannehill's on a different team. Like, wait for another year to pass and let Marcus get a good one in. And then when Ryan Tannehill flops, once you give him the new contract in Tennessee, then you go, well, they could have won with Marcus Mariota in there doing that after you get a different taste. Like, we're still too close to it right now. And so that was the error in this one. You got to wait a little longer when people all of a sudden start to forget, because Marcus Mariota was still there this season, and he's been there the last 5 years, and it's been really, really dead dog average.
Yes. So, again, they made the switch for a reason, and it worked.
It did work. Yes, it did.
Worked. They were way better with Ryan Tannehill by every measurable metric of offense than they were with Marcus Mariota. So having that as your data point, you cannot just say, they'd be just as good with somebody else in there. Come on.
So that being said, it does bring up the question. I mean, does Tennessee re-sign him?
By the way, allowing me to lance that boil and cleanse my soul, that was Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless.
Feel better?
Everything for less, only a woman. I feel much better. I'm not sure how they feel, but understand it was sent with love and care and respect.
Also, in the interest of straight talk and of being correct, it was pointed out to me in the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes stat comparison, which was for funsies, but you monsters want to come with receipts. He was injured in the first quarter of that Broncos game, so really only played in about 13 games as opposed to the 15. So just in the interest of truth in that, but it was more for funsies. I don't know why you guys were thinking
more for funsies.
Listen, Trey's over here trying to they take the flamethrower to everybody, and we got the crazy train spelled
I'm just trying to get people on the right track. That's all I'm trying to do.
The right track of the train spelled EY. And so I just wanted to make sure I was on the right track over here, even though, again, just to balance it out, I was giving you that for funsies, but no one wanted people don't want to have fun anymore.
Now, and the most radical thing about all of this, Max Kellerman. Listen to what he had to say.
Wherever Tom Brady goes, that team is not getting Tom Brady. That team is getting the remains of Tom Brady. That's who they're going to get. He's selling TB12 at this point. I don't want to say anything about his competitiveness. He wants to win a Super Bowl, prove things. I'm sure he's one of the most competitive people who ever lived, or he wouldn't be the greatest of all time. I get that. At this point, there's clearly also a business interest. He said he'll play to 45. He's selling the TB12 with a snake oil salesman who's already been in trouble for selling snake oil. And now the best advertisement he can have for TB12 is, I said I was going to play till 45. Look at me, I'm playing till I'm 45.
You know what you say? Spot the lie.
Right.
I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the point of the conversation where Max Kellerman is the voice of reason.
Yeah, I mean,
there we are.
If Tom Brady, whether he stays in New England or goes somebody else, you're not getting the Tom Brady of years ago.
Can I pull a Golic? You're getting a Tom Brady, not getting the Tom Brady.
It's
You're
exactly
getting
right.
a Tom Brady.
Without question.
Yeah.
I think it's true for all these old quarterbacks,
yeah,
right?
It absolutely is.
That's where we live right now. You understand what you're getting.
Are teams banging down doors for Phillip Rivers or Eli Manning, or are they saying, oh, my God, gotta have these guys?
Rivers probably more than Eli.
Probably
more
but
than
he's
Eli,
still a lot of
he's a turnover fountain.
Yes.
Only Jameis has given the ball up more since 2015 than Philippe Rivet. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, there you go.
Sometimes you just need to let it out. Let it all out.
Feel better?
I feel great.
Good.
And I just needed to get that off my shoulders.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. Coming up, one NBA star wasn't short on points in an historic performance, and he was kind of short, though. We'll get to that next. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, and a TV show.
Kevin, get in here.